Faith truly moves mountains. At the heart of every belief and tradition, we discover that faith is not simply a vague hope, but a palpable force that transforms realities. In Matthew 17:20, Jesus says, "If you have faith as a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move over, and nothing shall be impossible for you." With faith, barriers are broken, and the divine manifests itself in the daily lives of those who persevere. In the midst of turmoil and uncertainty, it is faith that provides calm. An example of this is that of Noah, who, true to his belief, built the ark, facing derision and doubt. He didn't just wait for miracles, he built them with his own hands. Faith impelled him to act, not just to pray. Those who seek to strengthen their own faith can start with a simple step, setting aside a moment of reflection and daily prayer, seeking connection with the sacred. And how can faith be integrated into modern life? Think of it as an ongoing dialogue, not a sporadic monologue. Talking to God doesn't have to be an isolated event, but a constant conversation that guides decisions and illuminates paths. Start a Bible study or participate in prayer groups. These are practical ways to keep the flame of faith burning and feel its effectiveness in everyday life. Remember, faith is as much a personal journey as it is a shared experience. Biblical teachings offer us a deep insight into the essence and strength of faith. Hebrews 11:1 reminds us, "Now faith is the assurance of what we hope for and the evidence of things we do not see." This verse encapsulates the nature of faith as a foundation upon which hope and assurance are built, invisible to the eye but unshakable in spirit. The Bible is full of passages that elevate faith beyond the conceptual to the experiential. Through the centuries, the Word of God has been a beacon for the faithful, showing that faith is not static. It grows, evolves, and is strengthened with study and practice. Christians are encouraged to not only believe, but also to live out their faith. This can be done through active participation in faith communities, where one can learn and practice divine teachings in unison with other believers. Finally, applying faith in everyday life can begin with simple gestures, such as offering a prayer before meals or during times of difficulty. In addition, engaging in acts of charity and community service are tangible ways to manifest one's faith. Every faith-guided action serves as a living testimony to the transformative power of Scripture in our lives. By cultivating these practices, each believer not only strengthens their own faith, but also becomes a beacon of hope and perseverance for others. Biblical narratives are filled with examples of faith that inspire and teach. The story of Abraham, for example, is a striking testimony of unwavering faith. In Genesis 22, God asks Abraham to sacrifice his son, Isaac, as proof of his faith. Abraham, though distressed, obeys, demonstrating his complete trust in God. This extreme act of faith is stopped at the last moment by God providing a ram as a substitute for sacrifice, showing that true obedience never goes unnoticed in the eyes of the Lord. Moses is another eloquent example. Guiding the Israelites out of Egypt and across the Red Sea requires colossal faith, which Moses demonstrated by following God's commands against all odds. His legacy teaches that faith can alter the course of history, transforming the fate of entire nations. Such stories serve to strengthen the faith of believers, showing that there is no challenge too great when one is aligned with the divine will. Moreover, faith manifests itself in moments of miracles and divine providences. The story of Daniel in the lion's den, for example, illustrates how faith can literally shut the mouths of the deadliest dangers. In everyday situations, this same principle can be applied when we face our own lions of challenges and adversity. Thus, biblical stories not only tell of past events, but are living sources of motivation and guides for the application of faith today. Ruth's story also illustrates faith-driven perseverance. By deciding to stay with her mother-in-law Naomi and follow the God of Israel, Ruth embraces a new faith and culture with courage and determination. His story is a beautiful representation of how faith can lead to redemption and personal transformation, culminating in his inclusion in the genealogy of Jesus Christ. To bring these teachings into the present, one might consider how similar our own journey of faith might be to these biblical examples. Like Ruth, we face decisions that shape our future and our faith. Engaging in Bible studies and group discussions can help deepen our understanding and strengthen our resilience, making our faith an active force in our lives and communities. The connection between faith and prayer is fundamental in spiritual growth. In James 5:15 we find, "And the prayer of faith will save the sick, and the Lord will raise him up, and if they have committed sins, they will be forgiven." This passage highlights how prayer, driven by faith, not only heals physically, but also restores spiritually. The constant practice of prayer strengthens faith, creating a virtuous cycle of spirituality and divine intervention. Prayer, as an ongoing dialogue with God, allows believers to maintain open communication with the Creator, reinforcing their trust and dependence on Him. Just as faith without works is considered dead, a faith without prayer is in danger of becoming stagnant. Therefore, encouraging a prayer routine is essential for anyone who wants to cultivate a deeper relationship with God. For example, starting the day with a morning prayer can set the tone for a day guided by faith and divine protection. Many faithful find in the dawn prayer a moment of peace and renewal, which prepares them for the challenges of the day. Likewise, a nighttime prayer provides an opportunity to reflect on the blessings received and seek forgiveness for failures, promoting a peaceful sleep and a grateful heart. In addition, participation in prayer groups can broaden one's understanding and experience of faith. Such meetings allow for the exchange of experiences and mutual support among members, strengthening the faith community as a whole. It is also an excellent practice for those who are looking for a concrete way to apply their faith in their daily lives, transforming prayer from a solitary act into a shared experience. To bring this practice into everyday life in a practical and meaningful way, consider creating a prayer journal. Writing down prayers and responses received can be a powerful tool for seeing personal progress on the spiritual journey and keeping the flame of faith alive. In addition to strengthening the spirit, this habit can serve as a tangible reminder of the power of prayer and faith in our lives. Faith has the power to radically transform an individual's personal life. In Romans 12:2, we are instructed, "And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God." This transformation by faith is not just a superficial change, but a profound inner renewal that alters the way we see the world and position ourselves in it. Living in faith influences not only the big decisions, but also the small daily choices. For example, an entrepreneur may be inspired by their faith to adopt ethical business practices, while a student may find motivation to pursue their studies with integrity. Faith offers a moral compass that guides believers through challenges and temptations, providing a framework for living honorably and purposefully. In addition to the moral and ethical impact, faith can also offer emotional support in times of crisis. In times of loss or despair, faith can be a source of comfort and hope, ensuring that each moment of difficulty has a greater purpose within the divine plan. This perspective can help individuals overcome adversity with a resilient and hopeful attitude. On the other hand, faith can catalyze a change in perception of oneself and others. Learning to see oneself as a beloved child of God can improve self-esteem and the way we interact with others. This new realization can encourage them to adopt a more altruistic and compassionate lifestyle, positively impacting communities and relationships. Finally, I encourage you to reflect on how your own faith has shaped your life. Whether through a conscious decision to follow biblical principles or through the comfort found in prayers during times of uncertainty, faith is a pillar that not only sustains but also enriches one's personal journey. Engaging in practices such as regular Bible study or community service can be tangible ways to experience and strengthen your faith in everyday life. Faith is often forged and tested in times of adversity. James 1:2-3 counsels us, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various temptations, knowing that the testing of your faith worketh patience." This teaching highlights that challenges are not merely obstacles, but opportunities for growth and strengthening of faith. Perseverance, fueled by faith, is what enables us to face and overcome these trials. In times of trouble, faith serves as an anchorage, holding believers steady as the storms of life roar around. It could be the loss of a job, a serious illness, or personal challenges that test our resilience. In these moments, faith pushes us to seek solutions and to trust that God has a greater plan, even when the path ahead is uncertain. For example, facing a financial crisis can be a defining moment. Here, faith can motivate a person to seek divine guidance in prayer before making significant decisions, such as changing careers or starting a new business. These are practical steps that can be inspired by the conviction that every faith-guided action will lead to divinely ordained results. In addition, the faith community plays a crucial role in times of trial. The support of a praying and counseling community can be a vital resource. Attending support groups or counseling sessions within the church can provide the encouragement needed to navigate through challenging periods. The solidarity and mutual support found in these groups reinforce the idea that we are not alone in our struggles. To bring these teachings into practice, consider how you can become more actively involved in your faith community, especially in times of need. Volunteering your time, listening carefully, and sharing your own experiences are all practical ways to strengthen yourself and others. This involvement not only lightens the burden of personal challenges, but also enriches your spiritual life, reaffirming the importance of shared faith in overcoming adversity. Miracles are often seen as the clearest manifestations of faith. In Mark 5:34, Jesus says to the woman who has been healed of a long-term hemorrhage, "Daughter, your faith has made you whole. Go in peace and be healed of this evil of yours." This episode illustrates how faith, even if it is of only one individual, can result in extraordinary divine interventions. Such accounts strengthen the belief that God is actively involved in the lives of those who put their trust in Him. Biblical miracles, such as the multiplication of the loaves and fishes, serve not only as testimonies of divine power, but also as reminders that faith has the potential to multiply resources and hopes. In everyday life, this principle can manifest itself when we face situations that seem insurmountable. Faith encourages us to look beyond human limitations and to trust in God's perfect provision and timing. For example, in situations of health crisis, faith can inspire both the sick and their loved ones to seek comfort and healing through intense prayer and trust in God. In addition, by witnessing small daily miracles, such as an unexpected answer to a specific prayer, our faith is strengthened and our perception of the divine expands. In addition, faith can lead to manifestations of miracles through community action. When a community comes together in prayer for a common cause, the results can be surprisingly powerful. Such collective experiences not only bring comfort and solidarity among members, but also reaffirm the belief in the power of collective faith to bring about real change. Encouraging reflection on personal and community miracles can be one way to apply these teachings. Keeping a record of answered prayers and moments of providence can help believers recognize and celebrate the many ways God continues to work in their lives. This habit of gratitude and recognition can enrich the spiritual journey, reinforcing conviction in the reality of modern miracles. Faith plays a crucial role in confronting and overcoming fear. In Isaiah 41:10, we are encouraged with the words, "Fear not, for I am with thee. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I strengthen you and help you and uphold you with the right hand of my righteousness." This verse underlines the idea that faith is not just a feeling, but an active force that combats fear and uncertainty, ensuring God's presence and support in all circumstances. Fear often arises in life's most challenging situations, whether in the face of illness, loss, or financial insecurity. In these moments, faith offers an anchor, a certainty that we are not alone. It invites us to trust not in our own strength, but in the omnipotence of God, who promises to be with us every step of the way. For example, when faced with an important decision, such as a career change or a significant life change, faith can help us take action despite our fear of the unknown. This decision to trust can open doors to new opportunities and personal growth, showing that faith has the power to transform fear into positive action. Additionally, sharing our own stories of how faith overcame fear can inspire others to seek that same strength. Support groups or community meetings where people share testimonies are excellent environments to strengthen collective and individual faith, showing that fear, as imposing as it may seem, can be overcome. Encouraging practices such as meditation and focused prayer can help decrease anxiety and fear. These practices can be introduced as daily routines, where individuals focus on Bible verses or divine promises that reaffirm God's protection and care. This approach not only strengthens personal faith, but also creates a space to experience the peace that surpasses all understanding, which is promised to all who trust in God. The rewards of faith are both spiritual and tangible, encompassing both present benefits and eternal promises. In Matthew 5:12, we are encouraged, "Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven, for so they persecuted the prophets who were before you." This verse reminds us that while faith can be tested through tribulations, the rewards ultimately outweigh the difficulties faced. On the earthly plane, faith can result in a more harmonious and purposeful life, where every decision is guided by deep-rooted values. For example, individuals who base their financial decisions, relationships, and careers on faith often find greater satisfaction and lower regret, as they feel that they are aligned with a higher purpose. Spiritually, faith opens doors to a more intimate relationship with God, providing a sense of peace and purpose that transcends external circumstances. This spiritual connection strengthens during times of uncertainty and offers hope in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges, reaffirming God's constant presence in the believer's life. In addition, faith has the potential to influence entire communities. When people of faith come together to support a cause, the results can be transformative. Faith-based community actions such as humanitarian aid initiatives or local support programs are examples of how faith in action can generate tangible and lasting benefits for many. Finally, the legacy of faith is a reward in itself. Passing on an inheritance of faith to the next generations not only perpetuates biblical teachings and values, but also offers future generations a solid foundation on which to build their own lives. Encouraging youth to explore and cultivate their faith through youth programs, camps, and missions can ensure that the impact of faith extends beyond a single life to many others. Faith, as a motivating and transforming force, calls us to act. Hebrews 11:1 exhorts us, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." This verse not only defines faith, but also implies an action based on that invisible certainty. It is an invitation to live proactively, guided by trust in what God has promised. A practical first step may be to establish a daily commitment to prayer and Bible study. These practices help to deepen understanding and strengthen faith, preparing believers to act in accordance with God's will. Whether starting the day with devotional readings or participating in weekly Bible studies, these actions concretize the commitment to the faith. In addition, sharing one's faith with others is essential. It is not enough just to live it internally. Faith must be expressed and shared. This can be done through conversations with friends and family, involvement in community activities, or even through social media, where the message of faith can reach a wider audience. Organizing or participating in community service events is another excellent way to put faith into action. These activities not only help the community, but also allow participants to experience the joy of serving others, one of the purest expressions of the Christian faith. Such initiatives may include food distribution, assistance to the elderly, or educational programs for young people. Finally, it is vital to encourage each one to reflect on how they can be an instrument of change in their own environment. Questioning how faith can influence personal and professional decisions can lead to a more integrated and purposeful life. True faith manifests itself in every aspect of life, and every action inspired by it can have a significant impact. Have you ever felt like you're fighting a lonely battle with no end in sight? Too often we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, forgetting that we don't have to face our challenges alone. The invitation to surrender everything to God may seem like a simplistic solution to complex problems, but therein lies the transformative power of faith. When we surrender and trust God entirely, we are not only giving up our control, we are making room for miracles. Engaging in an active life of faith is not about running away from harsh realities, but about facing them with a divine ally by our side. The stories of men and women in the Bible who put their complete trust in God show us that even in the most desperate situations, we are not alone. This act of faith can unlock a strength you never knew you had and reveal a path of possibilities that only becomes visible through total surrender. Imagine turning your lonely struggle into a shared journey where every step is guided by a bigger hand. The Bible's promise of renewed peace and strength is not just a comfort, it is a reality accessible to all who decide to trust and surrender their lives to God. Let's explore how this truth can change not only your perspective, but your very life. As we reflect on the multiple ways in which faith shapes and enriches our lives, it is clear that we are not called to walk alone. Each story of faith we explore today reveals that, alongside God, we face our greatest fears and overcome the most daunting challenges with a strength that transcends our human understanding. And now that you know the immense power of delivering your life into the hands of those who can do anything, what are you waiting for to make this transformative choice? Are you ready to transform your perspective and invite God to be the guide on your journey? How can you begin today to apply these lessons of faith in your daily life? These are questions that challenge not only our reflection, but also our action. And remember, you are not alone on this path. There is a community of faith ready to walk alongside you, sharing encouragement and experiences. Don't put off the change you can start today for tomorrow. Send us your questions, share your experiences, and most importantly, join us in this movement of faith. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and continue to expand your understanding of what it is to live truly confident and surrender to divine promises. Together, let's witness the power of faith in action.